what's going to make it really fun when you're going through the text. You know the words. So even if you don't get the grammar all the time, to recognize a word is really, it brings you much closer to understanding. Okay? So now we come to the second Aliyah from our Aliyah Yomi, from Torah portion Miqeits. And I'm sorry that I only did the first Aliyah last week. I had a lot going on, so anyway, I'll always get the first Aliyah, bli neder, always at least the first Aliyah. And sometimes we get them all, so we'll just see how it goes. And the first Aliyah from Torah portion Miqeits is found in Sefer Bereshit, chapter 41, verses 15 through 38. Okay? And so today, in the interest of time, I'm just going to focus on the language aspects, and I'll try not to get too sidetracked into too much of what the sages have to say about things, unless it's grammatically related. Okay? So let's take a look here. What is the number that is that? Oh, I just realized. Anyway, try not to look down on the slide. What number is that in Hebrew? Anybody? Tet, vav.
9.
Okay, tet is 9, and then the vav is what?
9.
Yes, 9 and vav.
15.
9 and 6. Yes, 15. Exactly, exactly. So it's 15.
Eight,
Yay.
10.
What's that? Why isn't it yod hey for 15? Because usually for the teens, we start with a yod, right? Anybody remember what's happening there? So the 12, 11 is yod plus, so 10 plus 1, yod aleph. 12 is yod plus beit, 10 plus 2. 13 is yod plus gimel, 10 plus 3. 14 is yod plus dalet, 10 plus 4. So you would expect for 15 to be yod plus hey, 10 plus 5. But the reason it's not is because we treat the name of God very, very specially. It's very holy, right? And if you were to write yod plus hey, 10 plus 5, well, this is the nickname, so to speak, of God. This is the part of his name that we can say, although we still don't just say it openly if we're not praying or praising. Or you might use it in a compound word like hallelujah, right? You'll notice that there are no names in the Bible that have the full name of God in them. There's no name that have yod, hey, waw, hey in their name. Because you don't want people walking around with the sacred name in their name, right? Because, okay, someone's microphone. Okay, yeah. So yod hey, even though this is, well, we say kaf, but it's ya. It's a short form of the tetragrammaton. It's pronounceable. We still don't want to use it to write a number. It's like a way that's demeaning to God. So the Masoretes, when they captured the vowels and all this other stuff, with numbers they give special respect to God. And this was already tradition to not write yod and hey in the Bible for 15. And the same is with the next number. For the number 16, we also do not write yod plus vav, because this is also representative of part of his name. But look, when we get to 17, it's business as usual. Yod Zayin, Yod Chet, Yod Tet, okay? So from 11 all the way to 14, Yod, 10 plus whatever. Get to 15 and 16, it changes to 9 plus whatever. And then we go back to 17, everything is normal again, because we don't have to worry about defaming God's name, treating it as a number. All right. So let's look. I'll step through this pretty rapidly. And I want you guys, I'm going to ask you after I read each verse, to point out any imperfect forms of verbs that you saw in the verse. All right? So, Vayomer Paro El Yosef Halom Halamti Foterein Oto. All right? So do you see an imperfect verb form in there anywhere? The parent.
Vayomer.
Exactly. Very good. Vayomer. So, Yomer means what then? If it's just Yomer, if there's no Vav. So you know Amar.
I will say.
You're very close. You're very close. It's not I.
Amar is to say, to
Yes.
speak.
Yes, you're correct on that. But look, it's a Yod.
I
Yes.
will, uh, yeah, yeah, I will
He.
say.
Yeah, you got
And
it. He.
I
Good.
will, and I said.
Right. Amar's I said, but the Yod makes it third
Yeah,
person. Right? He
yeah,
will say.
yeah. It's
He
a
will.
Bob conversive.
Right. Right. So before the Vav, if you just had the word Yomer, it will mean he will say. Right? And you're exactly right. The
He will
Vav
say.
changes it. Vav conversive, good. So, and he said, and who's the subject? Pharaoh. So and Pharaoh said, or then Pharaoh said unto Yoseph, Chalom chalamti, a dream, and then here's call, perfect. Chalamti, I dreamt.
Yeah.
Ufoter,
I
but
dream.
the interpretation, and interpretation, ein oto, there's not with it an interpretation. Vanihi שמעתי עליך לאמור, תשמע חלום לפתור. Okay. But now look at this. This is interesting. What does this say, guys? So, shamati. What's shamati mean? Anybody, just jump in.
Shamat.
Shamati. So, shama.
Shamat. I listen.
Yes, good.
I
Yep, I
I
listened.
listen.
I listened.
I heard.
That's right. I heard or I listened.
I
I heard.
listen.
Exactly.
Or
Either one of those. But look at this. So this word by itself means I listened or I heard. But look, we have a superfluous word up here. And I. So literally it says, and I listened. Or and I heard.
I.
Right? So this means what? What does it mean to have the extra ani up in front here that we do not need?
And I listen.
There's emphasis.
What's the question again?
The question was why do we
Emphasis.
bring
Yes.
the word, right? Because Hebrew doesn't need the ani, right? We don't need the ani. The ani is already here. It's the yod at the end. That's the ani, right? Shamati means I heard or I listened. So we don't need to say I, comma, I listened, right? Or I heard. So this means there's some kind of emphasis that the text is showing us. Pharaoh is emphasizing it's I myself, right? It wasn't a vizier or somebody else. I'm the one who had this dream. I'm just speculating why the emphasis is here, but there is emphasis. You need to recognize that. Okay, Alecha, I heard about you, literally on top of you, right?
I heard
Concerning you,
about you.
Yes, lemor. Okay, this form you don't know. This is an infinitive.
Say.
Literally, it means to say. Right?
Infinitive.
It's hard to bring into English like this, so that it's said about
Say.
something like that. Okay, Tishma chalom liftoroto.
Say.
So where's the next imperfect? There's another imperfect verb here.
Tishma.
That's right, tishma.
Tishma.
Exactly, tishma. So what's tishma mean?
You listen.
That's right, very good. You listen or you hear. Notice.
You
Notice.
you will hear.
It's either one. You're right. It can mean either thing. And
Yeah.
in this case, it's not future. In English, you were right with your first instinct. You hear, you listen, right? So this is a good example why we don't go with the modern Hebrew in understanding that this is why Israelis who are secular, who are not religious, they have a hard time understanding the Bible. Like, you give them Psalms, they have no idea what Psalms is saying, right? A secular Israeli, someone from a kibbutz or something like that, they just don't know. They don't know. And so don't lean on Israeli Hebrew, okay, guys, to get you through Tanakh. Make sure to understand the nuance, because just like Kuya said, it's you hear, right? It's not, in this case, you will hear, it's you hear. So that you hear, like there's an ongoing thing, chalom, dream. Before to
Dream.
interpret it, right? So this is something that you do. He's saying you're in the process of doing this. This is who you are. Okay, so that you hear a dream to interpret it, right? That you're able to do this. Okay, verse 16. Vaya'an. This is hard to recognize because there's a hey at the end of the verb that disappeared. It's a lamed hey verb. So it's anna, to answer, right? And so I'm just going to point this out because it's a little bit tricky. So look, this is an imperfect verb, guys. This is your new paradigm. The verb is anna.
Yeah.
And then we have the yod prefixing, right?
And
Yep. So ya'an means he will answer, right? And then the vav, right? You have the special vav, the vav consecutive, vav conversive, changes the time. So then he answered. Who's the he? Yoseph. So then Yoseph answered et Pharaoh, lemor, saying, Bil adi Elohim ya'aneh et shlom Pharaoh. Okay, so this is saying like not only I, right? It's not towards just me, but Elohim, but God, ya'aneh. So here we have a clear imperfect. Look at that, ya'aneh. The hey is still there in this one, ya'aneh. Will answer, or will cause to answer. Shalom Paro. And Shalom Paro, what is special about that? What kind of what's the verbal grammatical form we would call that? It's two words there. Shalom.
What word?
Shalom.
What word?
Shalom Paro. These two words. Shalom Paro.
Et shalom Pharaoh. Shalom.
Shalom Paro.
The
So it's
peace of
exactly
Pharaoh.
the peace.
That's right.
Pharaoh.
That's right. That's right. Which is in Hebrew how we suggest well-being, right? Someone's peace is how they're doing, right? And so this is a construct form here, right? So that's why it's not shalom, but it's shalom. You see, it's a vocal schwa. Shalom, shalom, right? That's one indicator. If you don't have the maket
Shalom.
to show you, but you see that the vowel shortened, it's showing you he's in the construct state. And because Pharaoh is definite, that's a particular person. It's Pharaoh. Only one person has that office. So we say the peace of Pharaoh or Pharaoh's peace. Okay? 17. Vadaber paro el Yosef. Okay, so here we have another imperfect form. Look at that. Yedaber. What does yedaber mean by itself? No vav. Don't look at the vav.
The verb to speak,
Yes.
to speak the verb.
Yep. And if I put it,
So, and Yedaber is he will
yes.
speak,
Yes.
but with the verb, it's he spoke.
Very good. Very good. Then Pharaoh spoke. Everybody caught that? This is our imperfect form, the new paradigm. That last column you're supposed to memorize, not the middle, like I said. The last one. Yedaber means he will speak, right? Usually, that's what it means. And then the vav, correctly, you stated, changes the time. So it means and he spoke, or then he spoke. It's not will speak anymore, it's not past. Then Pharaoh spoke unto Yosef, Bachalomi, okay? So what is chalomi?
In my dream.
Yes. So
In my dream. Bakolomi is in my dream.
beautiful. So the pronominal suffix e tells us it's my dream, right? In the be. So does anybody know why it's a patach
Yeah.
here underneath the bait? If it's not because we're not saying you cannot say in the dream mind, right? You can't say ha chalomi. Once you
Yeah.
put that suffix on the end, you can't have ha on there, right? It's just not necessary. So why do we have a ah sound under the bait? Does anybody know? It's kind of an obscure rule, and you don't have to know, but I have mentioned it if anyone cares.
Yeah.
So
It's a definite. It makes it definite. The patak makes
okay,
it definite.
usually you're right. That's why this is a very sneaky question I'm asking. Usually you're right. So
Ah,
usually go
is the
ahead.
next letter it's a ket.
Yes, you're close. You're close.
Harsh.
You're close.
Guttural.
Okay, okay. So you both are on the right
That's why
track.
tak.
But I want to tell you something. This is not the mark from the definite article. This patach. That's why I wanted to
Oh,
point this out.
he picked up the
I see.
composite shiwa. Composite
Yes.
shiwa picked up that vowel.
Very
That's right.
good. Very good. Nice. You guys got it worked out. Good job, Bessie. Good. See, so what's happening is it's not from ha, it's because you can't start a word with two schwas in a row, right? So if you have two normal schwas, the first one, like here, lamed usually likes to have a schwa, right, underneath when you put them under a word. But the word starts with a schwa, and that's not allowed. So the non-vowel schwa lengthens to the chirik, like it did here, right? The single short vowel dot. But in the case of a composite schwa, we have a schwa that has a sound like ah or like one of those.
Yeah.
Then that sound is copied over here. So ba chalomi. I just want to make sure you guys are catching it. Nice, you figured it out. Good, good. Okay. Hinani, behold, I or look, I.
Galing Big E.
Yep. Omed. Okay, this form you don't know yet though.
So,
But go ahead, try. Omed. Omed is
Active participant.
yes, participle. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. Very good. Even though we haven't had that formally in class. See, you're getting it from the immersion studies. That's great. So participle, it does not express any time at all. Okay? If you study modern Hebrew, they say it's present tense. All right? So like if I would say ani omed po, I'm standing here, right? But in the Bible, it doesn't have any time at all associated with it. This is really like an adjective that's formed from the verb. So this adjective, if you think of it as an adjective, the participle, he's modifying the ni in hineni. Behold, I, or look, I, and it's the state that he's in. It's like
nice.
I am in a state of standing. You see, I am green. I am standing, like that. It's implying that. And so, when in your translation, you just have to understand in context what the time is already. And fortunately, we have the time already here. Yedaber is future. Vaidaber makes it past. So we know it's past. So I was standing. Is how you translate. Or you could do the historical present in English. But look, check it out. I'm standing there, and this guy walks up to me, right? So English does it like that. It sounds present, but you're talking about the past. You can do that too. Okay? So I was standing. Al sifat hayo. Okay? What's al?
upon.
Good. Upon or near.
On,
It can also mean near. You're right.
above,
Yes, those are the main meanings. Exactly. It also means, it can also mean with or near. Okay, so you're right. It can actually be upon. And in fact, it's interesting. There's even a rabbinical teaching about why Pharaoh mentions earlier in his dream. It says he was al hamayan. He was over the water, right? And so there's a little rabbinical teaching that goes on to say that, well, this is because he's seeing how the waters will be split later and all that kind of stuff. But al does not just mean on top, right? That's kind of leaning very heavily. It can mean with. It's very flexible. Together with. It can even mean against sometimes, like in a battle scenario. So we'll just say on like you said, sifat hayaor. So here we have a construct chain. What does this chain mean? The word is sifa with a hey. You guys know sifa? I don't think this was a vocabulary word.
Asifat.
Sifa, I don't think you had to learn this yet.
No.
Sifa means lip, right? Like lobby. Lobby is sifa. Usually we say sfatayim in the dual because there's two of them, lips, right? So sifat is the construct form of sifa, right? So if you know that, and you know that hayaor means the Nile, or the great river.
The Nile.
So how would you translate sifat hayaor then? The last word is definite.
But
That's the hint. This last word here is definite. And in a construct chain, it means it's not any old river, it's the river. Or we can even translate this as the Nile. Because this is from Egyptian word Yahu. There's actually, the Hebrew word is borrowed from Egyptian. It's Yod. Wait, I'm trying to think which way English goes. That's right. Wait, this is like this. Y-R-U. Yuru. That was the Nile in Egyptian language. And that comes into Hebrew as Yaor. And they'll oftentimes specify with Yaor. So that means the Nile. So the lip of the Nile. So because the last word is definite, the whole chain is
upon
definite. That's
the
why literally the lip. So how would you
upon
make
the gates,
upon the what?
upon the gates,
No
the
gates.
gate,
Gate would be sha'ar. Sha'ar with an ayin is gate. And gates are sha'arim. Like the psalm says, Pitchei olam, right? Or
ano nga yung sifat?
sifat. Sifat, yeah. Sifat. Sifat.
Sifat means, I missed that.
Okay, sifat is from
I
sifa.
missed the
Okay,
meaning.
the word is sifa in the absolute, in the normal state. If you look at a dictionary, it ends in a hey. But what happens is feminine nouns that end in hey, if you
Yeah.
want to put a suffix on
Yeah.
them or you want to put them in construct state,
yes,
you go back to the
Oti.
ancient
ab,
Hebrew, a tav, yeah.
Sifat.
So sifat would mean lips, like one
Sifat.
and two.
Yeah.
Yep, sifat.
Yeah.
So, and since it's
upon the mouth,
no, nope,
Mouth.
nope. Mouth is pay. It'd be, but this is hayaor.
Banks. Banks. It's the bank. It's the
Yeah,
bank.
that's right. That's right. The river bank, the Nile bank, the shore. Right, exactly. Their strand.
and
Yeah, literally Hebrew, it's saying the lip of the sea, right? The Sifat Hayam is the lip of the sea, but that means the sand, the beachy seashore, like that. And so in the case of the Nile, it's the bank, just like you said, exactly. You could say the Nile's bank. So I was standing on the Nile's bank, Yod Chet, that's 18, 10 plus 8. Vehine, and look, behold, min hayor, from the Nile, olot.
From the
So,
Nile.
so this is another participle. It's feminine plural, and it's a lamed hey verb. So
A
usually,
lot.
yes, I am lamed hey.
Rising.
Good, very good. From Allah, right, to go up, to rise, very good. So
Yeah, a lot to rise.
rising up, good.
That's a participle again.
Yes, this is a feminine plural participle. That's why
Particip.
my chair
Yeah.
just bent. That's why it has the same ending as a feminine plural noun, right? Or a feminine plural adjective. Ot, right? Because we're talking about parot over here, cows, right? Right? This is agreeing with the olot. See? O tav, o tav. You guys see that? A lot of you are very quiet today. Is everybody okay? All right. So, Sheva parot, 7 cows. Olot, rising up, coming up. Oh, and we have more adjectives. So here is our noun, parot, cows or heifers. Okay? It's feminine plural. So that's our noun. And then here come the adjectives. Oh, just in this case, just one. Okay. Biriot. Right? This is like plump of basar, of flesh. Vayufot. This is from Yafeh, and beautiful, to'ar, in appearance. Okay? Vatil eina ba'achu. Okay, this next word, this is to pasture. It's reish, ayin. Ayin is the word. This is kind of a complex thing. It's called a geminate. You'll learn about this maybe 12 lessons or so. So, ra'ah, not to be evil, but to pasture, right? To pasture. Sometimes we even see it, yeah, okay. And this is an imperfect form, right? This is imperfect form. It's the third person, feminine, plural, of imperfect. So, tir'ena means they will pasture, right? They will graze, something like this. Then we have our vav, and you know what the vav does? So it makes it past. And they were grazing. They were grazing, among, and this time we do have the article. Look, we have the article. Because the aleph can't take a dagesh, it came down, it lengthened that short vowel to a kametz. So in the, or among the, achu. And this is interesting, this is an Egyptian word. It's iach, in Egyptian. I'll try to do the hieroglyph. Iach. Iach. And then I won't bother. Sometimes they even draw the sedge as the determinative at the end. The nesut determinative. Iach. In Egyptian, iach means this type of plant. It's like a sedge, right? That you see in the shallow parts of the Nile. So among the sedges. So this is a loan word that came into Hebrew from Egyptian. So it's really great, right? The Hebrew is so true to the original the Egyptian environment that all these things are happening that it even uses Egyptian words sometimes. Any questions or comments so far? You guys okay?
Yes, so far so good.
All right. We'll make sure I don't lose anybody. All right, 19. V'hinei shiva parot acherot olot acherot achereihen dalot v'raot to'ah me'od v'rakot basar. There's our end of marker. Okay. So, and behold, 7 cows. Acherot. So you have this word, acher. What's acher mean? It's one of your vocab words. Acher.
After,
Ooh,
afterwards,
you know what? You're right. Achar does mean afterwards, right? But as an adjective, it means other. So you're right. So the Bible will say acharei hayamim ha'eli, after these days, right? Or acharei hadavarim ha'eli, after these things, right? It will actually say that. You're right. Hold on, let me fix my chair here for a second. The legs gave in. I have this very thin plastic chair, and the legs bent in under me as I was moving around, a bit excited, teaching. All right. Up, down it goes. Okay, I'll just leave it like that. C'est la vie. Okay, so where were we? Okay, so other cows, olot,
Ano,
coming up.
rising,
Yep,
coming up
yep. Acharehen. Okay, so in this case,
after them,
yes, you do get the
after them,
after meaning. Yes, that's right.
feminine,
That's right. So here we
feminine,
have other, and here we have after. So you're exactly right, Bessie. So here's the after. And why is it hen? What does the hen mean? That suffix when you see it.
feminine,
Yes, very
them
good.
feminine,
Nice. Pronominal
female.
suffix. Very good. Okay. Dalot, the ra'ot, to'ar me'od, the rakot basar. Okay. So dal means thin. So
done.
thin one. So here we have our noun is way back here. Here's our noun, right? And then look at all these adjectives. Acherot. Okay. Olot, even though it's from a verb, it's a verbal adjective. That's what a participle is. It's a verbal adjective. So it's agreeing, right? And then look over here. Again, adjective. Dalot, thin. Ve'ra'ot, evil. But really we mean bad, right? Like bad. Like not a
Raot,
good animal, right? To'ar, of appearance, much so. Ve'rakot basar,
much,
and of like hollowing flesh, right? So this is again another adjective. Look at all those adjectives. So they're all agreeing basar, of flesh, right? Lo rayiti chachena b'chol eretz Mitzrayim la roah. Okay. Ra'iti. This is hard to recognize. The verb is reish.
To see. To see.
Yeah,
I
nice.
see.
Nice. That's right. The lamed
I
hey.
s-
That's right. I see.
yeah.
You're right.
I saw.
I saw exactly. So lo
I see.
ra'iti is what? Lo ra'iti?
I did not see.
Yeah. Yofi. Chahena. Okay, what's hena? You guys know hena?
Hena.
In
With them.
yeah, that's right.
With them.
Well, ka hena is really what it says. What's ka? What's the ka? It's this symbol in
With.
mathematics.
As according to
Or according with.
Like,
Uh,
or according to, exactly, right. So, like these, or like those.
according.
So hena in biblical.
According to them.
So if you studied modern Hebrew, the way that you say they when you're talking about girls is hen, just like the suffix over here. In biblical, you can say hen or hena. That means them, like them girls, right? Those, in this case, those parot, those heifers, those female cows, right? But it's a demonstrative adjective, right? So you could say like them, or you could say like those.
Those.
Like those, exactly.
Those.
Good.
Like those.
Bechol Eretz Mitzrayim. Okay? Eretz Mitzrayim.
In all. In
Yes.
all the land
Yes. In all the land
of Egypt.
Very good.
Egypt.
So we have a construct chain here, right? A pretty long one. It's 3 words. Chol Eretz Mitzrayim. Look at that. All of that. Right? And you're right. Since the last one is Egypt, that's a name, it makes it definite, right? And when the last one's definite, it all becomes definite. So we need V on all of that stuff to make it sound right in English, right? So he's imputing his definiteness over here onto land, okay? And onto Chol. So in all of the land of Egypt. La Ra. This is
of
kind of
Egypt.
weird. Pardon me, La Roa. Okay. Roa, it's related to Ra, right? It's like badness. Badness. Roa, this you might really like for your
Bad.
studies into New Testament. Roa, in some rare cases, also means bad fig. Like a bad fig. Like a fig that is not, a fig tree that's not giving you fruit or something, is a roa. And so I think this is why Yeshua cursed the fig tree. I think he's giving us a little example. If you look at the underlying Hebrew, right, that roa is also a bad thing, right? It can be a bad action, etc., etc. So there's some kind of connection there, tracing back to this original Hebrew word that comes to us in the Greek, so it's kind of lost. So anyway, la roa, this is hard to do in English. It's literally for the badness, right? So, but of course you know what it means. There's none like that in the land of Egypt that I ever saw according to their bad state, right? Something like that. I never saw such bad cows before. All right? Such low quality beef.
Rabbi,
Yes.
Rabbi,
Yes.
Slika. Could you please go back to verse 16, please?
16. Okay, going back. Okay. Yes.
Sorry.
No problem at
Verse
all.
16. Could you please first for thank you. Could you please first Bill Adi? Lemore or Bill Adi? I
Ah.
couldn't get that. In me,
Oh, okay,
Adi
okay.
in me, and then yes. Liad. What's Liad, please?
Ah,
To
Bill
know ba?
Adi. Bill Adi, you want to know?
No.
Sister, Bill Adi, you want to know?
Sorry, you're missing.
You're asking
Yes,
Bill
please.
Adi, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
this is actually a
Yes,
word. This
please.
is a word which means like apart from, or it can mean without. Like bil ad means like without something, right? You understand? And it has a
Uh,
suffix on the end. The suffix is yod, the pronominal suffix. So literally it's like without me, right? Or apart from. You understand?
Oh.
Yeah.
or not in me.
Yeah,
Or
not
not
yeah,
not in me.
yeah, you could maybe think of it like that, like not in me. Yeah, why not? It's a bunch of compound words that over time they took on kind of a new meaning, and so it's actually ade or ad. Ad is until, right? And so until me, right? And then the
Yes.
lamed is like to until me, right? But we have another problem in that there's also word bli, which means without, right? And so there's some uncertainty in the formation of this word. Was it bli plus ade, like ade ad until the end? Or is it bli plus ad plus me until me, like my end, right? Or is it ba, meaning with or within, le adi, my end or my completeness, something like that. So it's a good question. This is one of those words that it might be best just to learn it as like separate from, right, or apart from. It's got all those elements that I talked about, but it came eventually to mean something like separate from, apart from, right? So in the sentence, then Pharaoh, Yosef then answered to Pharaoh saying, apart from me, like separate from me, like meaning it's not me, right? Lo li hakavod, not to me the glory, but Elohim, God, Ya'aneh will answer. Did that answer your question?
Okay.
It's a good question, yeah, because
Thank you so
yeah, I
much.
should have spent more time on the word.
Thank you.
Yeah, because when you look at it, it's like, wait, is that a bait? Is that a lamed? Is that ad? Is that yod? The answer is yes, and the answer is no. Maybe. There's different speculations on the formation of that word. Okay? Yeah, good. It's good you brought me back.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys don't be
Yuppie.
don't be embarrassed to turn
Yuppie.
back.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good. Okay, let's go. Keep going. All right, Kaf 20. Let me check the time. Make sure we're okay with everybody. Okay, so I want to check in with you guys to make sure I'm not going to cause any hardship. So, uh, the class usually supposed to be scheduled 3:30 to 5 like that, but I don't mind going to 5:30 since we started a bit late. But it's up to you guys. I don't want to. I know some of you have tight schedules and stuff. So, do you want to keep going, or do you? What do you want to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're okay with that? How
Keep
about this?
going.
How about this? If anybody needs to
Yes.
go, you can go and kind of get filled in from everybody else later. We won't judge you if you have to leave, okay? So let's just keep going then. All right. Kaf, verse 20.
Go.
All right. ותאכלנה הפרות הרכות והרעות. All right. So what does that first word mean? Who can help me out there? What's the first word mean?
Which is to eat.
Yes, from achal. That's right. It's from achal.
From akal, it's what do you call this, plural,
Yes.
because of the form tokal na,
Yes.
and it's I believe it's a third uh feminine plural.
Perfect. Very right. So that's very good. So it's an imperfect verb. It's your new form, and this prefix and this suffix
Yeah,
tells you.
imperfect.
Yep.
Yeah,
Good. So that's what tells
yeah,
us that it's
perfect.
it's feminine, and it's imperfect, and it's plural. Okay. So
Yeah,
tochalna means they will eat, right? But the vav
they
and they
will eat.
ate. Yeah. And here's the subject: haparot,
And they
harakot,
ate.
the haraot. Okay. All of this is the subject. These three
Uh,
words. Go ahead.
can I have a question?
Yes. You just did. That counts.
The
No
first
more. That
word
was your
going
question.
na,
Sorry. Go
the
ahead.
na, yeah, the na. Okay. Okay. It's a third person female and it is exactly the same as a second person female. Am I
That's
correct?
right. That's right.
Hold on.
Okay. I
Let me
just wanted to confirm it's the same.
hold on. Hold on. Let me show you.
Pattern. If you look at the pattern,
Yes.
Yeah, I should have marked it better. There's a way to rearrange the
Third
pattern.
person and second. Okay. Thank you.
There's a way to rearrange the pattern so that you don't have to rememorize the same form more than once. And I should have organized them in that way for you. Come on, computer. Come on, computer. Almost, almost. You can do it. Why it shows that with the drawings and nothing else. I don't know. Okay. So here is what Sister's talking about. This one and this one. See, guys? So if you memorize these in this manner, you don't have to memorize the same thing, the same form twice. And also here, third feminine singular and second masculine singular. They're the same form. And then the more logical is first person common. You can recognize the aleph from ani. And then third person, for the masculine, we're starting with a yod usually, right? So here we're still starting with a yod, but since it's plural, we add one more thing to the end there. Boom. Okay, and this one also, the first person plural is also very logical. The noon from anachnu. Yeah. Okay. Good. Everybody good? Good question. I might not have gone back if I knew the slides were going to be so hard to get back, but they're going forward fast. That's fine.
Maybe the question, Rabbi,
Okay.
is the how many,
Your microphone cut out. Is the what?
yeah. Maybe it will go to note also when will you know that it's second? When will you know that it's a third person, second person,
Yeah, that's a good question.
imperfect?
So
Maybe they need to know.
yeah, it's all context in that case. So brother's asking about when you have the same form, the same verbal form, right? As that's going to be third person feminine singular versus second person masculine singular, and the context has to tell you in that case. That's the only way to know, right? But if you think about it, this is not too hard, right? I mean, in languages like
Okay.
Tagalog, you
Yes.
don't even have masculine and feminine at all, right? Like Sha, everything is Sha, Shia, right? So so really, you'll always know. I can't really think of a case where that really. It's a great question, but I can't offhand think of a case when it's been confusing in context. You'll tell. You'll because either there'll be a subject right after it, like in this case, haparot, right? The cows, and so you know, right? You know it's not talking. Hey, you know it's that you know exactly what it's talking about. The cows, third person feminine, right? So it's a great question, but really context is the only way you'll ever know. Unless you want to look at the Septuagint and see how the Greek translates, and then you'll know from the Greek form. Okay. Actually, no, you won't. No, you won't, because the Greek doesn't distinguish. Okay. All right, continue on. Uh, so look at all this as a subject. The cows, the thin ones are emaciated, the bad ones. All of that, that's who does the eating, right? What do they eat? Et, definite direct object marker, Sheva haparot harishonot habriot. Okay, so 7 haparot, cows, harishonot. What's rishonot? What's rishon?
Uh, I, Rabbi, your screen is still in the previous slide.
Oh, really? On my screen it's showing. Is that happening to everybody? Is the screen
Yeah,
stuck? Does anybody else see verse 20?
Yes, no,
yeah.
we're
I
on
don't,
the
don't
homework page.
Really? Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Thank you.
On my monitor.
Now. Okay.
Oh, it just updated? It updated?
All right. Now.
Is it correct now?
Yes,
yeah.
yes, now.
Ha! I
That's
didn't touch anything. That's so crazy. I'm glad you mentioned it though. Maybe it got scared now that you knew. So funny. Huh, because I'm looking at my TV that's external to make sure I see what you guys see, but I guess it didn't want to update yet. Maybe it's internet. Okay, so that's good. So looking down here, second line, first word. Harishonot. What does that mean? We're talking about haparot. It's a qualifier for haparot. The cows, what kind of cows? Harishonot. What's Rishon? Do you guys remember Rishon?
The head.
Yeah, that's right. It's related
head
to Rosh. Rosh is head. Rishon means first, right? It's related to head. So,
first.
yep. So in fact, for any of you who read my book, you see my commentary that the book of in the beginning it should actually be in a beginning grammatically, right? It's not Bareshit, which would mean in the beginning, but it's actually Bereshit, which means in a beginning. And Rashi has my back. Mine's based on grammar, but Rashi points out that if you wanted to say in the beginning, it would be Barishon. So you would actually use a different word even. You wouldn't use Reshit, you'd use this word here, Rishon, like in the first, something like that. Okay? So Ha-Rishonot means the first ones, right? So Haparot, that's our noun. Ha-Rishonot, the first ones. Habriot, the fatty ones, the healthy ones. Okay? Verse 21. Vatavona el kirbena. Okay? So this, do you guys recognize the verb ba, like Baruch haba b'shem Adonai? Baruch haba b'shem
To
Adonai.
come,
Yes,
to
good,
come,
good,
ba,
good.
to come,
Yep. And you'll notice it's the same form as this other one, right? So we know it's still the cows probably we're
Rabona.
talking about. It's
Yeah,
still they. So then, this vav I would say is then. Don't just make your vav into and always, right? It's actually more
then,
flexible. Then they came el unto kirbena, the
kabona.
the inside. Kirbena is like the insides, the innards. Velo noda kiva'u el kirbena. So, but they did not know. This is from Yada. Oftentimes, words that start with a yod, the verb, it will become a
Yeah,
wow, right? In other times, they did not know ki va'u, that they had come, that they had reached el kirbena, the insides. Umare hen, and hen.
Yeah.
What's hen? Good. They're mare. Mare, this is actually from the verb reish, aleph, hey. The hey you don't see here. It's appearance, right? It's to see. When you put the mem in front of a verb, in Hebrew morphology, oftentimes you can get a noun that's related to that verb. So in this case, a mar'eh is an appearance, or it can be also like a vision or an apparition, something like that. Can also be reflection. That's in late biblical Hebrew. Okay, and their appearance.
Evil.
And now to make it make sense in English, we have to say was ra. Yeah, evil, exactly. Evil, bad, not good.
Evil.
Yeah, not good. Exactly, evil.
Bad.
Ka'asher, according.
Bad or evil.
Yep, according to how, but techila. Techila means the start, right? In the start.
According to which, according.
Yep, according to how it was in the start, right? Or the beginning, something like that. Is everybody with me? Does anybody have any questions? In the Bible here, it's just kind of being poetic. It's intentionally using.
We're doing okay.
Okay, it's using a different word here than it did over here to mean the same thing. You see? Okay, both these words mean like the beginning or the start. Okay, they're synonyms. Va iketz. Okay, so iketz. This is from the verb kutz. Okay, pardon me, yakatz means to awake. Okay, so what is the verbal form ikatz? What is ikatz?
And I awoke.
You're right, but if I didn't have the then there, if it just was ikatz by itself, what's it mean?
By cats.
If there's no va, if there's no va.
I awoke. I
Yeah.
woke. I will awake.
Yes, yes. Ikatz
I will awake.
I will awake. And the vav.
I will.
Very
I
good.
will awake.
Very good. And the vav changes it, so then I awoke. Okay, good. 22.
I woke up.
I woke up. Good, good. Va'ere bachalomi. Okay, so this verb is a lamed hey verb, so we lost the last part of the verb. The hey has disappeared. So it's reish, aleph, hey. What's ra'ah? What's ra'ah?
To see.
Yes, to see.
And I saw.
Yes, very good. So
I will see and
yes, very good. And I saw bachalomi in my dream.
in my dream.
Yeah, that's right. So I saw it in my dream.
Yes.
And vihene, and behold,
And behold,
sheva shibolim olot bekane echad meleot v'tovot. Okay, sheva, 7, shibolim.
7.
So shibolim, you have to know something about this word, so the grammar doesn't look strange coming here. Shibolim is from the word shibolet. Shibolet. So shibolet is feminine, but for some reason it's got an irregular plural form. Okay, it happens sometimes. So instead of being shibolot, it's shibolim. It looks like it's masculine, but really it's not. So if you know that it's really feminine, it's like a it's a bachla noun. So it's pretending to be masculine, but really not. So then the adjectives are going to agree. They're going to agree, right? So there we go. Sorry for English speakers who listen to this later. So olot is feminine. It's actually in agreement with shibolet, right? The singular form. So this is like ears of corn, right? Pieces of corn, the head of the corn. Olot coming up. Be on kane. Kane is a reed echad, a united reed, right? So you've got our stalk. Stalk is probably better. So you've got a stalk of corn, and it's got 7 heads on it. Meleot. This is from Malay, like we say that God is Malay Chesed, full of loving kindness, full of grace. So filled up the tovot and good. 22. Vehine sheva shubalihim. So senumot
good.
takot shudofot kadim. Yep. 7
Oh,
heads of corn or heads of grain, however you want to say that. And then we have this word here. This is sanum. And so sanum is like hard or like sterile, like something. It's not good. Okay. Dakot, you know already. Thin. Shadufot. This is from shadaf. Shadaf is to scorch, like to burn on the edges. So burned, scorched, kadim. Kadim is the eastern wind. It's a special name for the eastern wind. And so in Egypt, the wind that blew in from the Sinai, if you've ever been to the Sinai, it's just like a dead place, right? It's so hot, hardly anything grows there. You don't want to hang out there unless you're on the beach. And so that's where this wind would come from, right? So it comes in his dream, this eastern wind that's so hot. Semachot. Samach means to sprout, to grow. So this is all coming back to shibolim, you see? The feminine plural, shibolim. They're tsenumot, dakot, shadufot, semachot, achrayhem, after them. 24.
You're having
Yes?
yeah,
Oh, I can't hear you. I think we're having some audio difficulties. I can't hear your voice. I heard you start to talk and now it's just silent. Let me check my internet connection.
I
Yes? All I heard was Rebbe, nothing else. Oh, are other people having trouble hearing too? Maybe our internet connection is. Okay, I'll just finish recording this part of the slide. Oh yeah, network connection has been
yeah,
reestablished. You hear me
yeah,
now?
you have a poor internet.
I'm very
We
sorry. My DSL the last 3 or 4 weeks has just been so flaky. I don't know what's happening. I think maybe all the students or something.
maybe you have to start from tequila.
I couldn't catch the last word you said.
Your garbo.
Start from where? Okay, I'm having trouble hearing you too.
Maybe from Batequila. Batequila.
All the way back there, really? Okay, I'll just step
Okay,
from.
I share.
Oh, okay. I'll just start from here and I'll go kind of quickly, okay? Since we could.
Yeah.
So ka'asher batechila. So techila means the beginning, the start. This word is a synonym to rishon, right? So the Bible's just using different words that are synonyms here. Va'ikyatz. Then I awoke. Verse 22. Va'era. This is the verb ra'at, to see. Then I saw bachalomi in my dream. Vehine, and behold, sheva shibulim olot. 7 stalks of corn. Olot were coming
7
up.
years.
We're coming 7 years. Thank you. Berkane in a stock echad, in one stock or united stock. Meleot, filled out the tovot and good. Verse 23. Vehine, and behold, sheva shibulim, 7 stalks. Senumot. Senumot is like hard or sterile, right? They're not great. They're not the lush, soft corn that you can just squeeze and eat. Dakot, thin. Shadufot is from shadaf, to be scorched, by kadim, by the eastern wind. This is the wind that would come into Egypt from the
Yeah.
I said it just a second ago now. I see it in my mind. What's it called? This area that we took in the
Kadibis.
Six-Day War. Huh? ah,
Yeah.
Israelis don't need a visa to go here, this part of Egypt. To cross the Nile, we need a visa, but just to go here, no need. What's it called? I just said it a moment ago, and now I'm having a brain cloud. Anyway, that part that's on the east side of the Nile, that's just like desert and useless. Like, wow. Okay, anyway, fine. Simachot, sprouting up, achrayhem, after them. 24. Vativlatna hashibolim hadakot et sheva hashibolim hatovot. Okay, so balat, this is an onomatopoetic word. Balat. The iron used to be like a guttural stop, right? So balat is to swallow. Kind of like the sound someone makes who's greedily swallowing something. Like really hungry, just scarfing it down. Okay? Now you'll notice here, the hay that should be here is not here. Just like this happens sometimes in verbs, it also happens at the end occasionally with a suffix. So, but tivlana, but the Masoretes, they pointed it for us. They put the comments here, so you know it's tivlana. Because the function of that hey, oftentimes at the end of a word, was oftentimes just to be an ah sound. Okay. And they swallowed up. This is the feminine form. So the subject, the ears, the thin ears, they swallowed up et sheva hashibolim hatovot, the good 7 ears. Valmar el hachartumim ve'ein magid li. So Omar, this is just a weird form. When you have a verb that starts with an aleph, and you want to put it in the imperfect first person singular, so you want to add an aleph to the beginning, the alephs collapse, and there's just one aleph, okay? You can't have 2 alephs in a row. They just don't do that. So Omar means I will say. Va Omar, and I said. So, and I said, I related El HaChartumim unto the Sheshparach. If you guys heard my drash yesterday, Ve'ein Magidli, and there's nobody to tell it to me. So, Chartumim comes to us in Coptic as Shesh per Ach. Shesh means scribe, per means house, and Ach, it's that little sandal strap you see, Anach of life. The scribes of the house of life, and this was a theological school, and we found their dream books. They have fragments from the dream book, so this is why they weren't soothsayers. That's not a good translation. Soothsayer and magician is not a good translation of this word, because we know from the Coptic Old Testament, they translate this word for us as the Sheshparach. So they actually had a dream book that they would consult, like a science. And so God intentionally gave this dream to Pharaoh that he knew they'd be unable to interpret, so that they would call Yoseph out. And it's just really beautiful. Just once again showing how true the Bible really is and accurate. So even though like a skeptic today might say, really, a dream interpreter is going to say, I can't interpret that dream. These guys would have said no, because to them it was like science. You had to consult. You write down the observation. You go look for it in the book. It's not in the book. We can't interpret it. We don't know. That's not been discovered yet, this kind of dream. Ve'ein magid. This is from Nagid. Nagid. Nagad is to retell or to relate. So there was none to relate it to me, like I just explained it to me. Okay. Hope you guys don't mind. I'm accelerating a little bit so we can get through this Aliyah for you by the end. If we don't get through it, I'll just do a separate recording and upload it. Okay. Actually, let's see where we're at. We're at 525 now, and there's 2 more slides. So maybe I'll just record these separately and put them up, or we can just stop where we are. What do you guys want to do? How do you feel about it? I'm fine either way. So 523. Maybe we can do it. Okay, we'll just push through since I don't hear anybody. 25. Vayomer Yoseph el Paro, Chalom Paro echad hu. Then Yoseph said unto Pharaoh, the dream of Pharaoh, this is construct chain. Pharaoh's dream is echad, it's united, hu. Oftentimes you'll see a pronoun just stick in there the way we'd say is in English. It is united. That one is united. Et asher Eloqim oseh higi leFaro. So here we have some emphasis. Et, that which the God, and this is very interesting. This is how the Egyptians spoke. They'd say Necher, the God. That which the God is doing, he has retold, he has related it to Pharaoh. Verse 26. Sheva ha-parot hatovot, Sheva shanim heina, Sheva hashibolim hatovot, Sheva shanim heina. The 7 cows, the 7 good cows, are 7 years. Literally 7 years, heina, they are, right? Remember, you think like Yoda again, 7 years are they? Right? You think like Yoda, you get it. And the 7 stalks, the 7 good stalks, we have to say are to make sense in English, are 7 years. Literally 7 years are they, is how Hebrew does it. Halom echad, a united dream, who it is. Verse 27. V'sheva haparot harakot v'haraot ha'olot achreihen. And the 7 thin and bad heifers coming up after them, 7 years are they. But the 7 thin, scorched by the eastern wind, ears of corn, yihyu. This is interesting. Look, here we have an imperfect form. This is kind of hard. You just have to know it's the form of the verb haya. But you still should see the prefix. See the prefix? And see the suffix. This shows you that it's haya. Oh, the microphone is out. Okay, I'll just keep going. They will be 7 years ra'av, of famine. Ra'av means to be hungry also. Ra'ev, ani ra'ev, I'm hungry. Verse 28. Hu hadavar asher dibarti el paro. That is the thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh, Asher Elohim, which the God, Oseh, is doing. Here, he has shown et Pharaoh, to Pharaoh, revealed. This is he filled from Ra'ah, to cause to see, so to reveal. 29, Hinehehe, Sheva Shanim, Ba'ot. Behold, 7 years are coming. Sheva Gadol Bechol Eretz Mitzrayim. 7, oh, pardon me, not Sheva, Sava. Sava Gadol, a great satiation, right? A great, satisfied greatly in all the land of Egypt. In the last of the second Aliyah, verse 30, V'kamu sheva shenei ra'av achreihen, v'nishkach kol hashava be'eretz Mitzrayim. This is from Kum, so, and sheva shenei ra'av, 7 years of famine will come. Kamu means they will arise, basically. Will arise. Kamu means they arose, so they will arise, achreihen, after them. V'nishkach kol hasava be'eretz Mitzrayim. Nishkach is nifal, shakach is to forget, so will be forgotten. And all of the satiation in the land of Egypt will be forgotten. The chilah ha'ra'av et ha'aretz. Yeah, this is really so chilah is actually one of these it's like Kala. Oh, you're back. I just kept going. I'll post it on YouTube, okay? If you guys want to catch up later. I hear you talking. You hear me?
Yeah, now
Yes.
we hear you. Now only.
I'm almost done. I just decided to keep recording when I saw the microphone was out again. So, hold on. I need to mute your microphone there, though, real quick. Yeah, hold on. There. All right. How do I mute everybody? I'm almost done. Yeah, the interface changed here and go to mute mode. Could you please mute your microphone? I think Corky, I think it's yours being very loud. Oh, man.
Cynthia.
Yes.
Mute.
I'm
Okay, I found the mute. Oh, better. Yeah, that was Corky's. Okay. Sorry, not to make you feel bad or embarrassed. Okay. So we're on verse. Okay, then the famine will finish the land of Egypt. Verse 31. Velo yivada hasava ba'aretz. Only in the famine. Okay, and the time of satiation will not be finished in the land. Some of you guys, your microphones are really loud. I can't even think. There it is. Oh, Baruch Hashem. Okay, where were we? Okay. Mipnei ha'ra'afahu, in the face of that famine, right? So the famine's going to be so bad that the good years will be forgotten. After such, ki chavedhu me'od, because it will be very heavy. Verse 32, ve'al hashanot hachalom el paro pa'amayim, and the years of the dream, concerning the years of the dream to Pharaoh, being 2 times, right? Pa'am is like a stride or a time. Pa'amayim means 2, it's in the dual. Kilachon, it means it's established. It's hadavar, the thing. Me'im ha'elohim, from with the God, the netcher in the Egyptian. U'me'machaya ha'elohim la'soto, and the God is hastening to do it. In the final verse, in the second Aliyah, 33, Ve'ataha yarei Pharaoh ish navo v'chacham. And now, let Pharaoh okay, let Pharaoh bring a man who is navon l'chacham. This is who has understanding and wisdom. Let him reveal to that person. It's from Ra'ah. Let him make seen to him. Visitehu al eretz Mitzrayim, and he shall sheet. Vishitehu, sheet means to set or to place. Set him al eretz Mitzrayim, over the land of Egypt. All right, and let me check. There's some chats here. Let's see what's in the chats. Oh yeah, okay. The water sound was too much. Yeah, I finally found the interface changed when I go to meetings, so I was searching. Where's the mute all? So found it. Okay. And let's see. So that's the end of the second Aliyah. You guys have any questions or comments? Oh my gosh, it's not the end. There's more. It's a very big one, isn't it? Let me see real quick. Okay, okay. I'll just do the last one real quick, okay? Since for the point of completion. Verse 34. Yaseh Pharaoh v'afked pekadim al haaretz. Let Pharaoh Asa do, and let him appoint appointees upon the land. The chimesh et eretz Mitzrayim, and let him chimesh means to make a fifth, right? To take 20% of the land of Egypt. The sheva shnei hasava, in the years of the in the 7 years of the satiation, right,
Where is
of plenty. That was verse 34. We're now on Lamed Hey 35. I hope it's updating on your screen. If not, I'll put it on YouTube probably tonight, and you can not the whole lesson, but the Aliyah part. Okay, and you guys can see it.
not
Lamed Hey 35.
not on screen, please?
Yeah, I can't help it. It shows my screen is being shared, so I don't know what's happening. I think it was internet issues. V'yikbetzu et kol ochel hashanim hatovot habaot
Thank you.
ha'ele. Yeah, nothing changed on my end. So, kabatz is to gather. This is where we get the word kibbutz from. A kibbutz is a gathering, right, where people gather together. So, yikbetzu, they will gather, by yikbetzu, and let them gather all the ochel, all the food of the years, of the good years that are coming, these good years that are coming, ha'ele. V'yitzberu, and let them heap up var, grain, tachat yad paro, into Pharaoh's authority, literally under the hand of Pharaoh. Ochel be'arim v'shamaru, food into the cities that they should protect, right? So this is where storage cities come. Later we find out in Exodus that the wicked Pharaoh who enslaved us, he makes us build storage cities. So they kept doing this in Egypt later on. It's like a good idea in general. 36. V'haya ha'ochel, v'haya ha'ochel, v'fikadon ha'aretz, v'shiva shnei harav, asher tikena be'eretz Mitzrayim. Okay, I gotta mute the microphone. You guys gotta be more careful. Those mics really distract me. So haya means it was, vehaya means and it will be, right? And the food will be the pikadon la'aretz, right? Like for the appointments for the land. The sheva shnei harav, like they're appointed for the land for the time of these 7 years of hunger, of famine. Asher tichena, which will be be'eretz, in the land Mitzrayim of Egypt. V'lo tikaret ha'aretz barav, so that will not karat, will not. This is a nifal form. That's the dagesh in the middle. It's nifal, so it's passive. Will not be cut off the land because of the famine or in the famine. 2 verses left, I think. Verse Lamed, yeah, 2 verses left. Verse Lamed Zayin 37. Vayitav hadavar be'enei Pharaoh, and the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh, in his sight. Uvenei ko avadav, and in the eyes of all of his servants. Verse Lamed Chet, our last verse. Vayomer Paro el avadaiv. So Pharaoh said unto his servants. Sorry, there's no all there. Hanimsa chazehe ish asher ruach Elohim bo. Nimsa, matzah is to find. Nimsa is nifal, to be found. And this is the hey interrogative. It's a question mark. So, is there found? Can there be found? Chazeh, like zeh, this one, such as this one. Ish, a man, asher, who, ruach Elohim, the Spirit of God, bo, is in him. Of course, Pharaoh might have been saying a spirit of God's, right? That's how you could interpret it. But it comes across also nicely in monotheism. Okay? Any questions or comments before we dismiss? Don't worry, we're not mad at anybody. I know the app on some people's phones, I notice it just unlocks itself. I don't think you're sitting there, oh, I'll let them hear my sounds now. Don't worry, there's no malice, nobody thinks that. It's just hard to get people's attention sometimes. Usually I'm fast on muting it, but they changed the interface on GoToMeeting lately. They went back to this other one that I hate. And so, there's the green line here on the screen, and there's this stuff up here at the top, and I don't know how to get rid of it. So I'm going to try to get some tech support this week. Nether. Yeah, thanks, Liz. Appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, I understand you guys aren't doing it on purpose. Okay. So if there's no more questions,